Hello, I'm Paula from Crochet Hookshoe, and this is the crochet headband for beginners I'll show you how to make today. So you can use one ball of medium category 4 yarn. It doesn't matter what brand or colour, but this brand that I'm using is the Bernat Super Value, and this colour is Dusty Teal, and as I said, it's in a medium category 4 weight. So with this yarn we need to use a 5mm hook or a US H8, which means the same. So that's this hook here, and this is a Clover Amour hook. So you'll also need yarn scissors and a yarn needle with a large eye to fit the yarn through. So there's just another look at the headband. So with this pattern we'll be using chain stitches, slip stitches, and the US single crochet and double crochet. So firstly, let's take out a good amount of yarn. And we'll start off by making a slip knot. Then we'll pop our hook into that loop and pull on the working end of the yarn to about there. There's the yarn end, and we're holding on to the working end, which is attached to the ball of wool. Now we're going to make 55 chain stitches. We'll count as we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. Now we have our foundation chain. And if you run your fingers along it to straighten it out, and then bring it up like that. And make sure there's no curls in it. Make sure it's straight. Hold it on the end there. And so we know there's no curls in it. Now we can slip stitch into the back loop of the first chain stitch. To form a ring. Now at this point, let's pull out some more yarn. Round 1, chain 1, make 1 chain stitch, and we'll be doing 1 single crochet into the back loop of the same stitch as the chain 1, which is into there. One single crochet stitch. Now we'll be doing 1 single crochet into the back loop, which is there. That's the back loop of each chain stitch around to the end. So this is an easy round. Just one single crochet stitch into the back loop of each chain stitch. Just trying to show you the back loop, just in there, making your one single crochet stitch into those back loops. Now you can count your stitches as you go around, but I'll show you a way where you don't need to count. When we come around to the end here, I'll show you when the time is to be done with the last one. I'll make an explanation of all of this here, but if you like, you can count 55 single crochet stitches around. So if you want to start counting now, so there's your first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've done 10. So if you want to count, then that's fine, but it's not necessary because I will show you at the end where you need to join, where you need to stop, and then where you need to join. So let's continue with our one single crochet into each back loop of each chain stitch. The chain does have a tendency to twirl itself around, so just make sure that you've always got the V's facing on the top. See, the bottom looks completely different. So you always want to see the V. You're really getting some good practice with your single crochets now. Especially into a foundation chain. Sometimes at the start of crochet that can be one of the most difficult things, is to crochet into the foundation chain. So this is a very good practice run for you. See, we're keeping that chain straight, so we only want to see the V's. Now this is the last stitch here. Last single crochet stitch. Now the reason we know that is that that's the join. So there's the last stitch. That's the join from when we joined on the foundation chain. There's the chain one we made at the start of round one. And here is the first single crochet stitch we made at the start of round one. So now we're going to slip stitch into the back loop of that first single crochet stitch, so we just did a slip stitch into the back loop of the first single crochet stitch we made to join this round, and that gives us one big circle to work with. So let's pull out some more yarn. So at the end of this round we have 55 stitches, and we'll have 55 stitches at the end of all following rounds. So that stitch count won't change now. Just pull that tail out of the way. For round 2, chain 2. 1, 2. Now we'll be doing 1 double crochet into the back loop of each stitch around to the end. To the back loop. See, it leaves the front loop there. So you can see we've worked that double crochet stitch into the back loop there. So we'll do that for each stitch around. 1 double crochet into the back loop of each stitch around to the end. And see how the front loops sit there, make a nice little line. Because we're leaving them, we're not stitching into them, so they're exposed. And it just gives it a nice little line design. I'll show you on the headband. See? These are the lines. These are the front loops sitting there. Yeah. The same here. If you need to stretch your arms, if they're getting a little bit sore, just jiggle around a little bit, roll your shoulders back. Getting a little bit sore, just do a different movement. That always helps. And if you're hurting very badly, then just stop altogether. You can pick it up later. So we're just doing one double crochet into the back loop of each stitch around so that we get this nice line design from the front loops being left exposed. last double crochet into the back loop of this stitch here. See, that was the join from the previous round. That's the chain 2 that we made at the start of this round. So now we want to join into the back loop of the chain 2. So that's the join, chain 1, chain 2. So the back loop of that chain 2 will make a slip stitch. This is what it's looking like now. So we'll just pull out some more yarn. If you need to have a stretch or jump up and down and jiggle around or whatever you need to do, because sometimes it is difficult sitting in one spot. So I'm just going to pull out a fair bit because for round 3 we're going to do exactly the same as what we did on that round that we just did. So we're going to repeat round 2 for round 3. So we start off with a chain 2, one, 2, and then we do 1 double crochet into the back loop of each stitch around to the end. So this is good double crochet practice. See how we're leaving the front loop exposed? It leaves a nice line. Headbands are handy things because, well, for me anyway, because I can't stand my hair flapping around in my face because I'm always busy doing something. And, whether it's cleaning or crocheting or cooking or whatever you're doing, you generally have your face down into something, and it's a lot easier when your hair is pulled back. So these headbands are very handy for everyday things, or even if you're taking your makeup off or be out in the garden, your head down in the dirt. And you wouldn't believe it, there's always people pressing the doorbell or knocking when I turn this video on, this camera on. Door salesmen or yarn couriers. this is the last stitch here for this round, and I'll show you why. That's the join from the previous round. There's the chain 1 and chain 2. That's the chain that we made at the start of this round. We did 2 chain stitches. So we want to slip stitch into the back loop of that second chain stitch. To join the round. So we've done 1, 2, 3 rounds. So for round 4, we'll chain 1, and then we'll do 1 single crochet into the back loop of the same stitch as the chain 1, so you can't miss it. It's that big hole there. 1 single crochet into there, and then we'll do 1 single crochet into the back loop of each stitch around. So it's another round of practicing our single crochet stitches into back loops. Now let's pull out some more yarn. Have a little stretch. Crack everything back into place. All right. So back into the 1 single crochet into the back loop. this will be our last stitch, because we can see there's the join, there's the chain 1, and there's the single crochet we made at the start. So we make our last single crochet in the back loop there. As I said, that's the join, chain 1, and the single crochet is here. So we slip stitch into the back loop of that single crochet, first single crochet we made at the start of the round, to join that round. So now we can cut the working end of the yarn and just leave about 15 centimeters. And finish off. So we can put our yarn and our hook aside now. We're finished with them. And now with these yarn ends, there's 2 of them, we need our yarn needle. So turn the headband inside out, because we'll be sewing these yarn ends into the inside behind the stitches along here. So that was a bit rough, but I got it through. So where you see that knot, just waiting for the camera to refocus. Going to go down the middle of the next stitch. And slide the hook down through the back of that stitch. Then turn it. We're going to come up behind the back of these stitches to hide this yarn end. And just pull a little bit tight like that, because when you put it on your head you're going to stretch it, so you want that tail to stay in. So let's cut that. That one's done. Next one, thread the yarn through the eye of the needle. Turn this around, and where you see the knot, actually this one's different. We can just take this one straight down through that stitch there. turn and then go along the back of the stitches. Now you can leave this headband plain, or if you would like to add some, add some crochet flowers, and sew them onto the headband, then what I'll do is I'll leave a video tutorial at the end of this video tutorial. I'll leave another video, it'll pop up on your screen, and it's called How to Crochet a Flower for Beginners. Just cut this off. And if you want to make some flowers to pop on your headband, so we've finished the headband now, that's all done. I've got a couple of ones I did from a video the other day, just to give you an idea of what the headband would look like if it did have flowers on it. So you can make them in a different colour if you like. But yeah, I think they look cute. And you'd only do it on the top part there, because obviously the back part is underneath your hair, so it's not going to be seen. So you'd only put flowers on half of the headband. So if you want to do some flowers, I'll leave that video tutorial up on your screen at the end of this one. So that is how you make a headband.